You just know I had to make a tier list. Everyone knew I had to make a tier list. I'm gonna make a tier list. This is pretty much my addendum video to my season review, basically encompassing all of my thoughts of the season as a whole, and this will be my specific tier list, basically ranking my enjoyment watching these characters throughout this whole rebooted season of Total Drama. And obviously, if you haven't already, you should go and watch my review if you want my full thoughts on the season. And this tier list is basically going to show how I felt about everyone in comparison to each other as opposed to the season as a grand total. And obviously, I'm going to be spoiling, so if you haven't watched the season, you should go watch the season, please. But enough chit chat, let's get into the review here. And to start everything off, we will go in alphabetical order, and that will start with Axel, who was fine. I think Axel actually perfectly encompasses the perfectly standard tier of all of these characters. Axel was great, there's some potential there to be better, but when you only last 2 episodes, there's not much I can really say about you. So Axel can land in C tier, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Next up is Bowie, who is iconic. I'm going to put Bowie in the icons tier because I loved watching Bowie throughout this entire season. I don't think he was the antagonist because we all know who the antagonist was, but I think Bowie is the best example of a anti-hero that you could have possibly had, and honestly is probably the best anti-hero that we've gotten in the entire show. Maybe aside from Duncan, maybe. But even then, I don't even think Duncan was that much of a villain most of the time. I think Duncan was just likable. But Bowie's able to dip. Bowie had a balance between being the master manipulator, pulling all the strings of the season and all the strings of what people are doing, and getting humbled at the same time and being brought down to earth as kind of like a punching bag at some points, but also getting outplayed by other people. So I think it's a really good balance, and that's what made Bowie so likable and so rootable for the rest of the season, because you need that dynamic, you need that balance. You can't be all the way in one direction or all the way in the other direction, and Bowie brings those together, and that lands him as an icon. Next is, who was this guy? Sorry guys, I don't know who he was. I don't even know if he was on the season. Whatever, I'll put him in D tier. But if y'all could help me out, if y'all could just let me know who this guy was, that'd be awesome. Thanks. Next up, we have Chase, who, if you guys haven't seen, we have a special tier just for Chase. Oh my gosh, he is so special because of how horrible he is. He is not redeemable in any way. Unlike his partner, which we will talk about in just a little bit, I don't see any redeeming qualities in Chase. I think he just sucked. I think he was on the season way too long. I don't think there's anything good to say about Chase, and I don't really want to talk about Chase any longer. If you guys watch the season, you guys will understand. Chase sucks. We can luckily talk about someone who is a lot more likable than Chase, and someone I am going to boost all the way up to the icon tier. We have Damien. And Damien, I love this man so much. He was basically the relatable and likable icon of the entire season. And even though he only lasted 5 episodes, he made such an impact on me. Just me personally watching him throughout the season, where he basically wanted to go home, and then he realized he's actually really good at some of this stuff, and then he tried to stay, and then he got voted out because everyone likes him so much. So I don't know. There's something about Damien, and if you guys heard in my review, Damien is going to be my winner pick for this next season that comes up, because I think the storyline is there. I think Damien can win, and I think he'd be a great winner of the show. So fingers crossed, I hope it happens. Damien was great. And now we're going to move on to someone who is a little less great, and that is Emma, who sucked 90% of the time. And when I say sucked 90% of the time, I mean sucked whenever Chase was also on the season with her, because all she thought about was Chase. Her entire personality was Chase, and that was really annoying. And obviously when they get back together at the very end and they're kissing the whole time, bleh, don't care. But the only redeeming quality that I have about Emma that is going to keep her out of the bottom tiers is that the one episode when Chase wasn't there and Emma was on her own, I actually enjoyed watching Emma. I thought she was fun. I thought she was likable. I thought she was rootable. And that shows that there's potential there. And if Chase could just get his ass out of here in the next season, he goes home early and Emma stays for just a little bit. She doesn't need to win or anything like that, but stays for just a little bit. I see some potential there, and I think Emma could be a lot more likable and move up in these tiers. But at the moment, where we stand at, I did not enjoy watching Emma most of the time, so I don't think I can put Emma up anywhere near the top tiers, so she's going to be in C tier. Next, we have the icon, the villain of the season, the main character for the second half. It's Julia. And Julia, she's going to go in the icon tier. There's no question about it. I really enjoyed watching Julia. And obviously, there's not much that needs to be said because she was the villain. She was bitchy. She didn't care about anyone's feelings. And I love that for her because we need our villains in total drama. And I think she brought so much drama and she basically made the episodes in the second half what they were. I don't think this season would have been nearly as good and I wouldn't have enjoyed it nearly as much if Julia wasn't so great. So for that, Julia can't go anywhere else but the icon tier. However, there is one downside about Julia, and that is the first half of the season. Because, yes, Julia in the second half of the season, she came out, she basically was amazing. Because the villain that we all know and love, she basically encompassed Heather, and I loved it so much. But the first half of the season, who was Julia? Like I said in my review, the people on Twitter were raving about Julia. They're like, oh my god, Julia's queen, she's mother, she's camp, whatever the fuck y'all say. In the first half of the season, I was watching and I was like, okay, Julia's gonna have an impact on this season. And she didn't do anything. She was basically the fake, influencer, whatever. Once she cracked out of her shell, she was great. So, she wasn't my favorite for the season because she didn't entertained me the whole time she was there, but I think she entertained me the most and her peak was the highest out of anyone here. Next, we have Millie, who I'm very conflicted on. Her and her duo, which we will talk about soon, were the two people who I left this season and I don't know how to feel about them at all, but I have to put them somewhere. And for Millie, I think she actually showed some character development here because obviously in the beginning, she was the stuck-up know-it-all who really didn't have any friends and was like, oh, my generation sucks, everyone sucks, blah, 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 and thought she kind of was better than everyone. She took the high road and I was like, oh, she's going to be annoying, she'll get kicked out halfway through the season, whatever. But once she got into her training arc with Priya, although I don't think I liked it that much for Priya's sake, I think for Millie's sake, it actually made her a more interesting character, and she actually developed into having feelings and having friends, and then obviously that first half kind of bit her in the ass at the end, but who cares, because I think Millie actually showed some promise. Now then again, on a second season, I don't know what else you can really do with Millie besides being besties with Priya. It's going to be kind of boring, because them as a duo was kind of boring, so I don't know, but if I'm taking it as just this season and this season alone, Millie can be fine being in B tier just because I think I enjoyed Millie more than I enjoyed Axel and more than I enjoyed Emma. So there's that. Next, we have MK, who basically had one trope, and that was stealing shit, because that was MK's entire personality. Now, I don't know if there's much potential with the MK. I could see it, but I don't know if it's actually gonna happen. And once the season kind of moved on and MK got eliminated, I kind of forgot about MK more than I forgot about a lot of these other early boots, which is really sad because I think MK was cool and I liked MK at first glance. But I think MK was pretty one-dimensional. However, there is one thing that is gonna boost MK above a lot of these people, and that was MK's kind of one-liners or kind of remarks that she made throughout the season. I really enjoyed them. I laughed at a lot of them, and I thought it was kind of relatable because she was like, you people are weird. Get out of my face. I'm done with y'all. And that was good. So for that one fact alone, MK is going to move up all the way to B tier because there's nothing bad about MK, but there's nothing great about MK. Now I'm going to move on to Nichelle, who I'm very disappointed with. There's maybe potential, but I actually don't think there is much of anything. Honestly, I don't want to put her at the bottom tier because, I don't know if she deserves the bottom tier, but she just didn't do anything for me. She was there. That's it. What else do you want me to say? I'm gonna put her at the end of C tier, the very, very bottom of C tier, because I don't think she was quite D tier. I don't think there's nothing bad about Nichelle, but unlike MK, there's also nothing good about in the show. So she's kind of bland. She'll land in C tier. And now it's the other half of that besties turned enemies turned bestie duo. It's Priya, the winner of the season, at least from the angle that I saw. Obviously, there's probably going to be a Bowie win coming somewhere along the line, but at the moment, Priya is the winner that I got, that most of us got if you've watched the season so far. And I think Priya is a satisfying winner. I enjoyed Priya, and I think as a character as a whole on her own, Priya was great. But like I said, when it came to the Priya and Millie duo, I think that boosted Millie up in my mind and lowered Priya down in my mind, which is unfortunate because I think Priya was really good, and I think if Priya was a lone wolf or Priya kind of like, I don't know, there's something there where Priya was pretty funny at times and she wasn't like completely dominant. She actually didn't win that many immunity challenges, if any. I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head. She wasn't like this like unbeatable force, but obviously she's really good at stuff. So in the end, I'm gonna put Priya in a very light A tier because I think she's better than Millie and MK just as a character in general, but there's no kind of standout moment that really boosts her up anymore, but I don't think anything about her is unlikable. And as a winner of the season, she has to get some credit just for being a winner. And obviously Wayne is not next in the alphabet, but Wayne and Raj have been a duo this whole time. I'm going to rank them as a duo, and I'm not going to say much except these two are A tier. And I actually love both of these guys, and I have no idea how that happened. When you see the cast list, when you look at these two guys, they're like best friends, they're hockey bros, they're like, oh, they're gonna be kind of annoying, they're gonna be blah, 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 talk about hockey. And yes, they talked about hockey a lot, but I think they were really funny and they had more depth to them than just the hockey bros. Like obviously Raj and Bowie have a little thing going on, which was really awesome, and I really enjoyed rooting for them. And then Wayne is also there, but he's also really supportive. He's an ally. Go off Wayne. But like, I don't know, there's a lot to these guys, and I think watching this season, I enjoyed watching them a lot, and I wanted them both to go a lot further. Obviously, they were going to get taken out at the same time. I don't really see a world where that doesn't happen. They're kind of inseparable in that aspect, and I don't know what they would do if one of them got taken out early and the other one had to make it further. So I'm going to rank them together because they deserve to be together, and they both deserve to be in A tier just for that. And now we're on to Ripper. And hear me out, guys. I'm not going to do anything crazy. Ripper, I'll say it now so y'all don't get freaked out. Ripper is D tier. Ripper was not a good character, but he was not the worst thing that I've ever witnessed in my life. He just wasn't. I actually think that Ripper was funny at times. I laughed at some of his jokes. I thought the parts where he wasn't like sexist, and he was just like really stupid about some stuff, like I thought that was funny. Obviously the sexist stuff wasn't funny. It's why he sucks as a character. It's why he's in D tier. But I think there's parts of Ripper that were funny. I think if Ripper just continues being aloof and mindless and annoying, I can deal with him. I think he lasted on the season a little too long. I think some of those times, because every time he went to Tribal, he was vulnerable. He was one of the last people to get a marshmallow every single time. And I think at least one of those times he should have gone home, whether it's against Axel, whether it's against Damien, whether it's against whoever the hell else he went against. Like, he should have gone home at least one of those times. But he didn't. He survived a little too long, which is whatever. So Ripper is going to be in D tier, but I don't think he's the worst thing in the world. He's not Chase. And I think not being Chase is good enough for me. Now, we can talk about Scary Girl, who is an absolute joy, an absolute pleasure. The greatest thing that has come out of this reboot has been Scary Girl. I am a Scary Girl stan. Scary Girl is my favorite, my number one. I probably should have made an own tier just for Scary Girl because I love Scary Girl so much. I laughed every time Scary Girl was on the screen. I was rooting for Scary Girl. I was devastated when Scary Girl went out way too early. I hope in the next season Scary Girl makes it a lot further because I think there's so much good that you can get out of Scary Girl, and I need it. I need it so bad. I need more Scary Girl screen time. Please, please, at least the merge. I'm just begging for Scary Girl to make the merge next time. Scary Girl is amazing, and I don't know what I would do without Scary Girl. And last but not least, we have Z. And I love me some Z. Like, my stoner bestie literally encompassed Argyle from fucking Stranger Things to a T. And I think he was great. I mean, he was literally my second favorite character from this season. Like, what else do you want me to say? Z was likable. He was rootable. He made it far. He was funny. It was all good. I loved watching Z, and I think the way that he went out was perfect as he created his own demise after everyone finally realized that he's just an idiot. But that's great. That's what I love about Z, and I don't think there's a world where Z goes out early in the next season. So, crossing my fingers for a lot more Z content, and maybe a win. We'll see. We'll see. But aside from that, I will do just a little bit of reordering just to kind of get my characters in line. So Chase will be my bottom, then Ripper, then Caleb. Then I'll do Nichelle. Emma will go over Axel just because I think there's more potential for Emma maybe, and she made it a lot further on the season. Then Millie, MK is fine. Wayne, Raj, Priya. I will put Wayne and Raj above those two. Then I'm going to put Damien above Bowie, and Julia can go in the back with Scary Girl as number 1. So this is my official order from 16 all the way to number 1 of my favorite characters, and that was my tier list for Total Drama Island, the 2023 reboot version, at least season 1. So I do hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, check out my review again if you haven't already. And if y'all enjoy this video, enjoy Total Drama, enjoy any form of television, reality TV, whatever the hell it is, stick around. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things coming up. So until next time, bye-bye.